Good afternoon. My name is Dan Scripps, Chair of the Michigan Public Service Commission. I call this meeting of the Commission to order on December 21st, 2022 at 1:33 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Scripps.
Present.
Commissioner Phillips.
Present.
Commissioner Peritick. Present. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Today's meeting is being held in person at the Commission's office at 7109 West Saginaw Highway in Lansing, Michigan. We are also hosting this meeting remotely using Microsoft Live Event. It is compatible with all browsers except Safari. Telephone relay service is available through the phone option. If you are participating via the live stream, you may also turn on the live captions by clicking on the closed caption or CC button in the lower right corner of the screen. As indicated in the notice for today's meeting, if we lose the remote connection, the Commission will not recess but will continue in person. The meeting will be recorded and available for future reference on the Commission's website. In addition, the Commissioners can receive comment via mpsc_commissioners@michigan.gov. For reference, this email is also included in the Q&A feature on the live stream event on your computer and in the meeting notice. We will have an opportunity, of course, for the public to make comment as provided in the agenda. A few notes about this. Comments should be limited to one per person and can be made verbally in person or by calling in or in writing via the live stream Q&A feature. If you are participating via Teams application, you can use the Q&A feature and type your comments in the box anytime during our meeting, and we will have those queued up to read. The Q&A function should be used to submit public comments directed to the Commission. If you would like to make verbal comments, you must do so in person or by calling into the meeting by phone. For individuals participating by phone and who want to make verbal comments, you may press *5 to be queued up for comment. As is our standard practice, comments are limited to no longer than 3 minutes per person so that we have a chance to hear from all who would like to comment. And to minimize disruptions, attendees participating by phone will be muted until we reach the time for public comment. The first order of business is approval of the agenda for today's meeting.
I move for the approval of the agenda for today's Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve today's agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The agenda is approved. The next item of business on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the December 9, 2022 Commission meeting.
I move for the approval of the minutes from the December 9th, 2022 Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the minutes from the December 9, 2022 Commission meeting. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The Commission meeting minutes of December 9, 2022 are approved. The next item of business on the agenda is the approval of orders and minute actions on the consent agenda, and today the Commission is assisted by Staff Attorney Anna Sterling. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 5 communications matters, 1 electric matter, and 1 gas matter. The proposed orders and minute actions for these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staff and are ready for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. I move for the approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The orders and minute actions on the consent agenda are approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4A1 is case number U-20952, which involves an application filed by MEI Telecom, Inc. for designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier for purposes of lifeline service in certain areas within Michigan. The order before you approves the application.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20952.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20952 is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B1 is case number U-15805, which involves an application from Consumers Energy Company seeking ex parte approval of an amendment to a renewable energy purchase agreement. The order before you approves the application.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-15805.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-15805 is approved. And I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B2 is case number U-20165, which involves an application from Consumers Energy Company for approval of the Public Utility Regulatory Policies Act of 1978 full avoided cost rates. The order before you approves the full avoided cost rates.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20165.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20165 is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B3 is case number U-20959, which involves a matter on the Commission's own motion to commence a collaborative to consider issues related to the further engagement, education, and participation of utility customers. The order before you rescinds the Commission's order for the Commission staff to develop and issue a community organization survey by December 30th, 2022, and orders the Commission staff to continue its work with community-based organizations.
Thank you once again. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20959.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20959 is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B4 is case number U-21087, which involves an application filed by DTE Electric Company for approval of a prepaid program and partial waiver of the consumer standards and billing practices for electric and natural gas service. The order before you denies the application and requests for waiver without prejudice.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21087.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Before we vote this afternoon, I wanted to stress a couple of points that are made in the order before us. First, though the order before us rejects the company's application and waiver requests related to its prepay program proposal, that's a tongue twister there. The order also notes that, as outlined by the Commission staff on the record, there are merits and potential benefits of this type of program, particularly for payment-troubled and vulnerable customers. In light of these potential benefits, the order further notes that the company may, after additional vetting and program redesign, refile its request for a prepay program and associated waivers for approval as a pilot program, and such a proposal should be accompanied by a comprehensive pilot's plan as established by the Commission in case number U-20649. Furthermore, if the company elects to refile the prepay program as a pilot, the order encourages the company to, one, work closely with interveners and staff to develop the pilot and address consumer protection concerns raised on the record, two, explore options for extending the shutoff notification period to longer than 5 days, and three, provide the Commission with robust reporting metrics as recommended by interveners and outlined in the order. Lastly, the order encourages the company to explore how to maximize the potential benefits of AMI deployment by making the real-time and/or daily information that would be offered to prepaid participants, as outlined in the company's filing, available for all customers. This really is in line with previous statements made by this commission body, as well as urged by previous commission bodies, that our electric utilities should allow for customers in their service territories to enjoy the full benefits of the ubiquitous AMI investment and deployment in their service territories. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips. Is there any additional discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21087 is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B5 is case numbers U-21099 et al., which include dockets opened on the Commission's own motion for the receipt of capacity demonstration filings required by MCL 460.6W and for other filings. Staff member Roger Doherty will describe this order.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. On June 23, 2022, the Commission requested comments from interested persons on 8 separate topics related to resource adequacy in Michigan. Those topics were the ban on Michigan retail electric customers of commission jurisdictional electric utilities from bidding demand response resources into the regional transmission operator wholesale markets as individuals or through aggregators, the participation of energy storage resources in wholesale and retail markets, setting a forward capacity obligation that is higher than the current planning reserve margin requirement, lifting the stay on the individual locational requirement, maximizing benefits to reliability of the state's transmission connections, improvements in regional transmission operator markets, potential tariff changes around choice customers returning to utility service, and any additional measures the Commission should consider that would enhance the state reliability and resource adequacy position. Several parties provided comments. All comments are available for public viewing in the U-21099 docket. The order in case number U-21099 summarizes the comments received and provides further guidance on these issues. Specific to the issue of demand response, the Commission implemented the demand response aggregation ban in the December 2nd, 2010 order in case number U-16020. The Commission has revisited and examined demand response resources in several proceedings and stakeholder work groups over the years, most recently through the My Power Grid Demand Response Stakeholder Workshop and in case number U-20348. In this case, comments were received from parties in favor of lifting the ban as well as from parties opposed to lifting the ban. Comments also highlighted additional considerations such as the need for effective two-way communication between utilities and aggregators, data access and protection, the Commission's visibility into non-utility demand response, and potential licensing requirements for third-party aggregators. The order includes additional discussion on these issues and finds that the time is right and that adequate processes and protections are in place to partially lift the ban while acknowledging that further refinements will likely be necessary as additional experience is gained by the customers, aggregators, utilities, and Commission. Parties also provided substantive comments on the other requested resource adequacy issues, and the order includes discussion on these topics, but no further action on these issues at this time. The order before you lifts the prohibition established in the December 2nd, 2010 order in case number U-16020 for demand response resources from commercial and industrial customers with a minimum load size of 1 megawatt, as well as for aggregators of those customers. The prohibition would remain in place for residential customers and for commercial and industrial customers with less than 1 megawatt of load, as well as for aggregators of those customers.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21099 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to thank all of our staff and all of the parties who submitted the thoughtful comments on demand response aggregation, valuation and integration of energy storage into the electric grid, including simultaneous participation in wholesale and retail markets, forward capacity obligations, individual local clearing requirements, cross-border transmission connections, RTO market signal improvements, and transfer provisions for electric choice customers, and any additional measures that the Commission should consider to enhance the state's reliability and resource adequacy position. That was a lot that we asked for, and these are really important considerations. And I'm aware of the complexity and the nuance that these issues present. These issues were considered as part of this order and are all aimed at developing improvements and solutions not only to Michigan's capacity demonstration process and its capacity position, but the MISO region's capacity position as a whole. As described by Mr. Doherty, the order before us allows for large commercial and industrial customers with loads of 1 megawatt or greater to participate in third-party demand response aggregation programs if they desire. It's my hope that this fast-acting grid service will provide capacity during the times of greatest need on the grid and will put Michigan and the MISO region in a better position to meet the peak demands of our customers. We're currently thinking of this 1 megawatt threshold as a starting point, and depending on the results, the Commission may work with stakeholders to develop appropriate consumer protection policies for smaller resources and may revisit the ban on aggregation for smaller loads as we continue to gain experience with demand response aggregation of retail electric customers.
Thank you, Commissioner Peretick. Is there any further discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-21099 et al. Is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B6 is case number U-21251, which involves a matter on the Commission's own motion to establish a work group to conduct an electric grid integration study and to make recommendations to improve the readiness of the distribution system for distributed energy resources and electric vehicle infrastructure. The order before you extends the deadline for the final grid integration report until no later than June 30th, 2023.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21251.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21251 is approved. And I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B7 is case number U-21285, which involves an application filed by DTE Electric Company for ex parte approval of a customer-requested special contract and amended renewable energy plan. The order before you approves the application.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21285.
I second the motion.
Now, before we vote on this, I would note that while the order before us is relatively straightforward, the context and the application for this approval is anything but, and relates to Ford Motor Company's agreement to purchase 650 megawatts of renewable energy through DTE, which was announced in August and is the largest purchase of renewable energy from a utility in U.S. history. So I appreciate the work of Ford and DTE in finding a path forward and continuing to evolve the suite of voluntary options available to customers seeking increased renewable energy and encourage approval of the order before us. Is there any additional discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21285 is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B8 is case numbers U-21311 et al., which involve assigning docket numbers and filing deadlines for energy waste reduction reconciliation proceedings and annual reports.
I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21311 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-21311 et al. is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4B9 is case numbers U-21320 et al., which involve adopting docket numbers and due dates for the filing of biennial energy waste reduction plans for the calendar year 2023.
I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21320 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case numbers U-21320 et al. is approved. I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4C1 is case number U-21226, which involves an application filed by Northern States Power Company requesting authority to increase its Michigan-based rates for natural gas service. Staff member Michelle Skur will describe this order.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. On July 12, 2022, Northern States Power Company filed an application with the Commission for authority to amend its rates for natural gas service and for other relief. The rate increase requested in this proceeding is based on the company's projections for investments, expenses, and revenue for the 12-month period ending December 31, 2023. Northern States Power Company filed testimony and exhibits showing a revenue deficiency of $989,387 based on a projected test year that assumed a return on common equity of 10.5%. Parties to the case included Northern States Power Company, Michigan Department of Attorney General, Citizens Utility Board of Michigan, and MPSC staff. Following negotiations, the parties to this case reached a settlement agreement. The settlement agreement provides that Northern States Power Company should be authorized to increase annual base rates by $733,000. It is understood that this rate increase reflects the amortization and refund through 2023 of $23,488 in TCJA under refund liability and $96,448 of depreciation expense regulatory liability. The company's rates are based on the following rate of return on common equity of 9.8% and an overall rate of return of 6.07%. The parties further agree that Northern States Power Company will spend $1.2 million annually in its Michigan jurisdiction DIMP-related copper and Dylon plastic pipes in 2023 and 2024. To reflect this spending, Northern States Power Company's rates shall be increased in the annual amount of $120,000 effective on and after January 1, 2024. The parties also agree that Northern States Power Company will eliminate personal credit card convenience fees and implement a low-income assistance service program. For the calendar year 2024, NSP agrees to donate $25,000 for low-income utility bill assistance. Northern States Power Company will not seek an increase in its Michigan natural gas base rates prior to January 1, 2025. The order before you approves the settlement agreement and adopts a 2023 calendar test year, a total revenue requirement of $733,000, an authorized rate of return on common equity of 9.8%, and an overall rate of return of 6.07%. Northern States Power Company is authorized to implement the rate increase and tariffs approved by this order on January 1, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21226.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21226 is approved. And I recognize Ms. Sterling.
Item 4D1 is case number U-21342, which involves an ex parte application filed by Detroit Thermal LLC requesting approval of a steam sales agreement for the supply of steam between Detroit Thermal LLC and the Detroit Wayne Joint Building Authority. The order before you approves the steam sales agreement.
Thank you, Ms. Sterling. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21342.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21342 is approved. We've now reached the time reserved for members of the public to address the Commission. As mentioned in the notice for today's meeting, we will take public comments in the following order. First, individuals attending in person. Next, written comments from individuals using the Microsoft Teams live stream Q&A. Then verbal comments from individuals submitting names in the Q&A feature and who have called into the meeting. And finally, from individuals participating only through the phone option. If anyone attending in person desires to address the Commission, please come to the podium and use the microphone at this time. Okay. We will now turn to public comments through the remote options. Again, if you would like to make a comment and have access to the Teams live stream Q&A feature on your computer, please enter your name and your comment, which will then be read aloud to the commissioners. The feature is available on the right-hand side of the control bar next to the mute button. As a reminder, the Q&A feature is intended for public comments directed to the Commission and not to engage with other participants or respond to their comments. After taking any comments through this feature, we will open up the phone line for those who have called into the meeting and would like to address the Commission verbally. If you would like to be queued up for verbal comments, you can either enter your name in the live stream Q&A feature and indicate that you wish to make a comment, or, and this is new, you can press *5 and you will then be queued up for comment. I will first call on these names in the order received, and after hearing from those individuals listed in the Q&A, we will ask if there are any comments from individuals who are on the phone line but not utilizing the online Q&A feature or unable to press *5. Please note that you can only make verbal comments by calling into the meeting. Individuals who are on the phone and want to be queued up for verbal comments, again, please press *5, When it is your turn to speak, press star 6 on your phone to be unmuted. As a reminder, this public comment period is for commissioners to listen to comments and concerns and not to answer specific questions. When providing comment, please indicate your name and where you live if you are willing to share that so that we have it for our records. And again, please limit comments to 1 per person and keep them brief, no longer than 3 minutes, so we have a chance to hear from all who would like to comment. Ms. Cole, I believe you are again helping with this part of the agenda, and I'm wondering if there are any written comments that have been entered into the Q&A feature.
There are no written comments today so far.
I will ask the next question that you know is coming, which is, has anybody indicated through the Q&A feature an interest in providing verbal comment?
There are no indications of interest to speak today in the Q&A feature.
Okay. I can't see the list of folks who have called in, but is there anybody that has indicated an interest in speaking who has raised their hand through the star 5 feature?
I do not see any raised hands, Chair Scripps. There are some phone lines there, so it might be worth checking to see if anyone would like to speak.
Okay, we'll go to that part. Is there anybody who has called into the meeting who would like to make public comment at this time? And again, you can press star 6 on your phone to unmute yourself. Try this again. If you've called into the meeting and would like to offer public comment at this time, you may do so. Please press star 6 to unmute your phone. We will try one more time here. If you're on the phone and would like to offer public comment, you may press star 6. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, we will close the public comment period at this point. The next item of business on the agenda is the year in review for 2022, and I just want to take a few minutes and offer some closing thoughts at our last meeting of the year, including sort of 10 areas where we sort of particularly focused over the past 12 months. The first is on reliability and resiliency. In late 2021, this is of course not a new issue for the Commission. So in late 2021, the Commission opened case number U-21122 to explore the responses of investor-owned utilities to the storms that we experienced 2 summers ago in August of 2021. And the Commission continued its work in this docket with a Commission order in March of this year that took several steps toward better understanding utility reliability, outages, and storm responses. And included among these steps is the development of a new template for utilities to report reliability metrics, outage and restoration data, and tree trimming data. And the Commission also directed the development of a new web page focused on distribution system reliability, outages, and storm response to make this information easily available to utility customers. And this website is expected to go live in early 2023. In September, we followed that up with an order in the distribution plan docket U-20147 that took steps to provide better data to the Commission regarding grid performance, directed staff and the utilities to work to make data on reliability impacts compatible with the MyEJ screen, environmental justice screening tool, so that stakeholders could more easily analyze reliability impacts geographically and address environmental justice and equity concerns related to the impacts of outages, and directed the utilities to provide comparisons of trade-offs between a number of options available for improving reliability. Consumers, DTE Electric, and I&M were also directed to file their next distribution investment and maintenance plans by September 29th, 2023, with Alpena Power Company and Northern States Power Company directed to file their first distribution investment and maintenance plans by September 30th, 2024. And then finally, following late summer storms that resulted in significant power outages and down power lines that caused at least 2 deaths and a number of critical injuries, that we took further action in October of this year in case number U-21305, where we ordered extensive informational filings by consumers in DTE, which include reporting on their compliance with prior storm-related Commission orders, including the orders issued in the storm docket from 2021. The Commission also directed a third-party audit and review of the Consumers Energy and DTE Electric distribution systems and related processes and procedures, and that third-party audit is expected to commence in the first half of 2023. So a fair amount of attention on reliability and resilience. In addition, we also took action on a number of issues related to resource adequacy. In reviewing the capacity demonstrations filed by commission-regulated utilities, cooperative electric utilities, municipal electric utilities, and alternative electric suppliers required under Section 6W8 of Public Act 3 of 1939, we found that one alternative electric supplier had not procured capacity for a customer for whom they did not anticipate reviewing their contract. And this was the first time since the implementation of the 2016 energy laws establishing the capacity demonstration requirement that a load-serving entity had failed to demonstrate sufficient capacity to meet their obligations. And so the Commission issued a show cause order directing the AES to show cause why it should not be found in violation of the capacity demonstration requirement, and opened case number U-21250 for this purpose. Later in the year, the local cooperative electric utility filed an updated capacity demonstration providing sufficient capacity for that one customer, and the updated capacity demonstration was accepted by the Commission in December. We also took note of the MISO 2022-23 Planning Resource Auction results that showed local resource zones 1 through 7, which includes both Michigan's Upper Peninsula and most of the Lower Peninsula, had gone to the cost of new entry in terms of capacity prices, a significant jump. While each local resource zone across MISO North and Central met their individual local clearing requirements, there was insufficient resources available in the auction to meet the demand of the load-serving entities planning to purchase from the auction, and that led to the auction jumping to the cost of new entry. Staff expressed concern regarding tightening capacity and slimming reserve margins in its capacity demonstration report, and in response, the Commission requested comments, as was detailed earlier today, from load-serving entities and stakeholders regarding addressing capacity shortfalls and options to bring additional capacity resources to the market. That included the order discussed earlier, where we partially lifted our 2010 prohibition on demand response aggregation resources participating in regional wholesale power markets as part of our efforts to bolster Michigan's energy capacity position. And in addition, we've taken a number of other steps over the course of the year, most notably probably the approval in June of Consumers Energy. We're back on. All right, including most notably the approval in June of the Consumers Energy Integrated Resource Plan Settlement Agreement in case number U-21090. The settlement agreement included the closure of the Campbell coal plants in 2025, but postponed the retirement of the D.E. Karn units to 2031 and approved the purchase of the Covert Generating Station in 2023, which brings additional needed near-term capacity online, as well as approving the addition of approximately 8,000 megawatts of solar generation by 2040. Third, particularly given the increase in commodity prices, we've taken a number of efforts to help vulnerable customers. We take seriously the task of ensuring that vulnerable customers have access to the information and programs, including assistance programs that can help them stay warm and connected. And over the last 12 months, as noted, we've seen a tremendous uptick in the underlying prices of energy commodities, and these costs continue to increase, making the work of ensuring access to information and assistance programs even more critical. As part of our efforts in 2022, we extended the work of the Energy Affordability and Accessibility Collaborative and directed the collaborative to coordinate efforts with the governor's task forces on a number of issues to develop cohesive policies across state agencies and broaden the participation of historically marginalized communities. We also established the Low Income Energy Policy Board to coordinate the work of the Energy Affordability and Accessibility Collaborative and the Energy Waste Reduction Low Income Work Group. The functions of the board include cross-pollination of policy and coordination, communication, and decision-making. And in November 2022, the board hosted a low-income energy policy summit designed to create strategies related to the key policy pillars of affordability and customer protections, customer-centered engagement and coordination, and energy waste reduction and weatherization. The board is planning a virtual report out session in January 2023 to report on the strategies developed and provide an opportunity for broad public feedback. In addition, in February, we approved a percent of income pilot program for Consumers Energy. This 2-year pilot program creates a fixed payment plan of 6% of gross income, and the pilot will provide data to gauge the efficacy of percent of payment plans. Sorry, Commissioner Phillips, I think it's contagious, versus the existing low-income plans offered by the utility. We also, on the telecommunications side, continued our work in promoting the Lifeline program and Affordable Connectivity program. These programs, which provide assistance for phone and internet, have helped literally thousands of people stay connected. And finally, in November, the Commission launched a new comprehensive assistance webpage, www.michigan.gov/mpsc/gethelp, which is intended as a one-stop shop for customers in need of help, provides information on energy and telecommunications assistance, as well as providing resources for organizations that serve low-income clients. We've also been active in leading on the energy transition through a number of efforts connected with the My Power Grid initiative. These include formally proposing new interconnection and distributed generation standards and electric interconnection and net metering standards, which are currently pending. We also launched the Distribution System Data Access Workgroup in case number U-21251. This will collaborate with stakeholders and utilities to create a grid integration study for the expansion of distributed generation electric vehicles as requested in Michigan Senate Resolution 143. We also addressed staff reports connected with the New Technologies and Business Models Workgroup in U-20898 and the Customer Education and Participation Workgroup in case number U-20959. And we also wrapped up phase 3 of the Advanced Planning Process Workgroup when we adopted updated integrated resource planning parameters and filing requirements earlier in this year. We also approved 2 integrated resource plans in 2022. I mentioned the Consumers Energy IRP earlier, but also the Upper Michigan Electric Resources, UMERC, sorry, I don't have it spelled out in front of me and I always forget that acronym. We also had IRPs filed in 2022 by Indiana Michigan Power Company and DTE Electric Company, which remain under commission review with decisions expected next year. There's also been a fair amount of work around the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in order to ensure that we receive the full benefit of the $550 billion in federal infrastructure funding available. And as part of that effort, we directed regulated utilities to file comments demonstrating how companies are or should be taking or should be considering taking full advantage of grants, loan programs, funds, and assistance available under the Act. We also, per Public Acts 53 and 166 of 2022, have helped to stand up and issue a request for proposals under the Low Carbon Energy Infrastructure Enhancement and Development Grant Program. We issued that RFP earlier in September. Proposals are due early in January 2023, and we expect to make grant award decisions in the late spring. And finally, as part of this, we have worked to fulfill the mandate from the legislature under Public Act 87 of 2021, which directed the Commission to conduct a study into the potential for renewable natural gas development in Michigan, including to identify and engage interested stakeholders in the development of the study. And we completed that work and sent the final study over in late September. So a fair amount going on in terms of leading on the energy transition, but we also have focused on telecommunications efforts as well, including the end of the access restructuring mechanism that was established in 2010. This was a fund designed to provide temporary assistance to rural incumbent local exchange carriers to soften the revenue loss associated with reforms to the intrastate access rates mandated by the legislature the previous year. ARM funds were distributed monthly to eligible providers, and the final disbursement to 38 eligible providers were made, marking the end of the ARM in 2022. The Commission, as part of that, reorganized work within the Telecommunications Division to account for the end of these responsibilities. And we also issued a statewide telecommunications assessment report where we completed and issued a comprehensive assessment of the current telecommunications and broadband services in Michigan and provided a review of telecommunications law in Michigan, the Commission's regulatory authority, and recommendations concerning how the Commission can best serve the people of Michigan. We've also been active on expanding customer education and outreach, and over the course of 2022, the Commission has actively worked to ensure opportunities for customer education and outreach, including the addition of a new public comment button to the Commission's e-docket system, holding 5 energy assistance resource fairs in Benton Harbor, Melvindale, Grand Rapids, Marquette, and Gaylord. These were designed to provide assistance and ultimately reached more than 70 people with home energy help. We held the first ever Commission field meeting in Detroit, 6 public hearings, including hearings on 3 IRPs, the IRP filing parameters, and the DTE electric rate case, launched the Commission's Facebook page. You can go and like us there, and created and launched the Commission's utility program portal. We continue also to our efforts to provide customers the most up-to-date projections of energy costs and other trends through the issuance of summer and winter energy appraisals. We've also seen the continued evolution of broadband in Michigan and have been part of those efforts, including partnering with the new Michigan High-Speed Internet Office in an effort to expand broadband service throughout the state. Staff have continued active participation in the Connecting Michigan Task Force, which is now led by the MyHigh office, and have worked to continue outreach, as I noted earlier, through the Affordable Connectivity Program. We've also promoted the Broadband Map Challenge process from the Federal Communication Commission. The FCC in November released the public version of this national broadband map, which will be used to inform how much money each state will get from the federal government to fund broadband infrastructure. And critical to this process is ensuring the map's accuracy, this requires the participation of the public through the MAP's challenge process. I know Commissioner Phillips in particularly has been an advocate and a promoter of this effort. The Commission has been active in promoting the challenge process to the map, encouraging Michigan residents to review the map and ensure its accuracy. We also, as I noted at the previous meeting, and so won't spend too much time, but announced a series of organizational changes designed to ensure the Commission's continued effectiveness as both the energy and telecommunications systems continue to evolve. And then finally, and last but not least, if I can find this page, it's been a busy year on the MPSC docket. While several initiatives and unique demands required staff and commissioner attention throughout the year, the regular work of the Commission carried on. We issued approximately 400 orders in 2021. This year, including today, we issued 513 orders, or nearly 10 a week, including orders approving 2 IRP settlements, 4 rate cases, the longest ever order, at least since I've been here. And I just want to highlight the continued efforts of Commission staff who have been busy filing testimony and briefs in several cases, including those rate cases, IRP plans, or IRP cases and others that will come to the Commission for a decision next year. So all that and a partridge in a pear tree has kept us fairly busy this year, and I just want to take a minute before we close out 2022 to thank our staff, certainly my colleagues, and really the interveners and regulated entities that we are put in the place to oversee in service of the public of Michigan. It's been a busy year. We've got a lot on tap for 2023, and I want to thank all involved. And I'll turn it over to my colleagues to see if they have anything to add to this before we get to the other announcements.
Wow, that was a lot. I'll keep mine extremely brief. I just want to just say thank you to all of the staff here at the Commission for everything that we've accomplished that Chair Scripps was able to just run through there. Certainly a lot, and the sheer volume and quality of the work from the dedicated staff at the Commission is truly impressive, and I'm excited to see what we can do in 2023.
Yes, thank you for that, Chair. I do need to get you a glass of water after we leave here, but again, we have a small but mighty team. I've always been impressed. I've worked in a lot of different organizations and different capacities, but I've always said to others internally and external to our organization, this has been just the most accomplished, well-rounded, most committed group of employees and people I have ever worked with. We've faced a myriad of challenges this past year, but never has there been a complaint. Are folks unwilling to put in the hard work to make sure that we meet the deadlines that we're committed to under statute and meet the needs of the people of Michigan. And I'll highlight, a perfect example of that is, unfortunately, the upcoming next several days. I just wanted to make folks aware of, we do have what could be a fairly extreme weather event impending. Certainly encourage folks to heed the warnings of meteorological offices, and if you have travel arrangements, to do so before Friday or later in the weekend. Certainly ask for folks to stay tuned to their utility service provider or providers, as well as the MPSC social media accounts, particularly our Twitter and Facebook feeds will continue to put out information on how to contact your utility service provider if there is an outage, or to receive assistance during this period. And then I also would just like to thank our staff once again, thank the employees, the contractors, linemen, and other professionals of our utilities who will be working throughout the holidays to either ensure that customers maintain electricity or heating service, or have that service restored if, unfortunately, there are issues related to the extreme weather that we will face. But again, that just highlights the commitment of our staff and this entire ecosystem here in the state of Michigan, and how hard everyone here works in order to ensure the safety and reliability of this system for the people of Michigan. So just thank you to everyone for that.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillips. Are there other announcements? All right, stay safe. Carbon monoxide is a real issue. Wire downs are dangerous. Assume they're live until you absolutely know otherwise. And if you need help, if you experience a disruption, please do reach out. These are dangerously cold temperatures, and travel may be dramatically affected. So stay safe. With that, we will conclude today's meeting. The next regular commission meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, January 19th, 2023 at 1:00 p.m. We'll have additional details on that as we get closer. Is there a motion to adjourn, Commissioner Phillips?
I move to adjourn today's commission meeting.
I second the motion.
We'll now have a vote on the motion to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The meeting is adjourned. Happy holidays. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.